pictorial record of Razem Khalidi's collaboration with Axis, the Mufti and the Iraq Quisling, Rashid Ali Kailani. Between them, Razem Khalidi, being hailed in Italy. Razem Khalidi is member of Arab Higher Committee's proposed delegation to the UN. The Mufti and his collaborators in Germany. Second from right, Razem Khalidi, the Mufti aide, and now proposed by the Palestine Arab Higher Committee as a member of its delegation to the extraordinary session of the UN on Palestine. The Mufti and Razem Khalidi in Italy. Razem Khalidi second to the right of Mufti. The Mufti in Iraq. The Mufti center, and to his left, the Nazi ambassador to Iraq, Grab, top Middle East espionage agent of the Nazis, taken in the Mufti's villa in Germany. The Mufti and Rashid Ali el-Kailani, Iraq leader of the Iraq revolt against the British, being ushered by Italian soldier. Hitler's pledges for revolt against British. Hitler gives Mufti pledge for help in Iraq revolt. On January 20, 1941, 3 months before the beginning of the Iraqi revolt against the British, the Mufti sent his secretary, Dr. Mustafa Wakel, with a long memorandum to Hitler. The following is Hitler's reply, conveyed through Freiherr von Weizsäcker of the German Foreign Office. In the French translation, found in the Mufti's files in Germany, annotations in the Mufti's handwriting are discernible. Hitler's reply. Secret. March 1941. Copy Paul 7188 GRS. Eminence. The Führer received your letter dated January 20th, sent through your private secretary. He rooks great interest in what you wrote him about the national struggle of the Arabs, and he took cognizance with great interest and sympathy of your report concerning the national struggle of the Arabs. He was pleased with the friendly words addressed to him in the name of Arab nationalism and in your own name. Your private secretary began the discussions, which you in your letter requested. In response to your desire to have a clarification of German policy toward the Arabs, I am empowered to state the following to you. Germany has never occupied any Arab countries and has no ambitions whatsoever in Arab lands. Our view is that Arabs who possess an ancient culture and have proved their administrative, judiciary, and military maturity are capable of self-government. Germany recognizes the full independence of the Arab countries, or where this has not yet been attained, their right to it. The Germans and the Arabs have common enemies in England and the Jews, and are united in the fight against them. Germany, traditionally friendly to the Arabs, and in accordance with the desires expressed to your private secretary, is ready to cooperate with you, and to give you all possible military and financial help required by your preparations to fight against the British, for the realization of your people's aspirations. In order to enable the Arabs to begin the necessary preparations for their future war against the British, Germany is prepared to deliver to you immediately military material if the means for transporting this material can be found. In order to further develop the details of our friendly cooperation, I would like you to send your private secretary back to us, or, if he is unavailable, another emissary. I request you to keep the contents of this communication secret. The Italian government has been informed of its contents and subscribes to them. I am sure your private secretary will inform you of his impressions of Germany, i.e. that the victory of the Axis is certain and Britain's downfall assured. With best wishes for your personal well-being and for the further success of your vigorous undertakings, in behalf of the Arab cause, I remain, Your Eminence, very devotedly, Freiherr von Weizsäcker. Italians promise aid in revolt against British. Pledge abolition of Jewish national home. Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Rome, April 28, 1942. Eminence. In response to the letter sent today by you and by His Excellency, the President of the Council, Rashid Ali el-Gailani, and in confirmation of the conversations with you, I have the honor to communicate the following. The Italian government fully appreciates the confidence placed by the Arab people in the Axis powers and in their objectives, as well as their intention of participating in the fight against the common enemy until final victory is achieved. This is in accord with the national aspirations, as conveyed by you, of the Arab countries of the Near East at present oppressed by the British. I have the honor to assure you, in full agreement with the German government, that the independence and freedom of the Arab countries, now suffering under British oppression, are also the objective of the Italian government. Italy is therefore ready to grant to the Arab countries in the Near East, now suffering under British oppression, every possible aid in their fight for liberation, to recognize their sovereignty and independence, to agree to their federation if this is desired by the interested parties, as well as to the abolition of the national Jewish homeland in Palestine. It is understood that the text and contents of this letter shall be held absolutely secret until such a time as we together decide otherwise. Please accept, Eminence, the expression of my highest consideration. Chano, Eminence, Amin el-Husseini, Grand Mufti of Palestine, Rome. Hitler's Order on Iraq Revolt and Middle East Conquest. Sector 24. GCN/C. 73. Copy of translation from German, September 6, 1945. Secret. Führer Headquarters, May 23, 1941. The Führer and Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. OKW/WFST/Department L.I. Operation. Number 44772/41. Secret. 22 copies. Fifth copy. Order number 30. Middle East. 1. The Arabian Freedom Movement in the Middle East is our natural ally against England. In this connection, special importance is attached to the liberation of Iraq. It strengthens beyond the Iraq borders the forces in the Middle East hostile to England, disturbs English communications and ties down English troops, as well as English shipping space at the cost of other theaters of war. I have therefore decided to move forward in the Middle East by support of Iraq. Whether and how the English position between the Mediterranean and Persian Gulf, in connection with an offensive against the Suez Canal, is to be later finally solved, is not up for decision until after Barbarossa. 2. In summary of my individual decisions, I order for support of Iraq. The sending of a military mission auxiliary accomplishment by the Air Force shipments of arms. 3. The military mission, codename Sonderstab F, is under the Air Force General Ilmi. Pencil note, there he is again. Their jobs are A. To advise and support the Iraq Armed Forces. B. As much as possible, to produce military connections with forces hostile to England, even outside of Iraq. C. To gain experiences and foundations for the German armed forces in this area. The setup corresponding to these jobs is regulated by the Chief of the High Command of the Armed Forces. For the chain of command, this is valid. A. All members of the armed forces to be sent to Iraq are under the Chief of the military mission, except the Liaison Command Syria. B. The Chief of the military mission is under the Chief of the High Command of the Armed Forces, with the provision that orders and policy for flying units issue exclusively from the Commander-in-Chief. SCC.24, Gen/C. 73, page 2, of the Air Force. Pencil note in English, never mind. C. The Chief of the Military Mission Associates, only with military service offices of Iraq. Negotiations with the Iraq government in matters of the mission are carried on by the representative of the Foreign Office in Iraq. In military orders which can have foreign political reactions, the Chief of the military mission has to get in advance permission from the representative of the Foreign Office. D. The members of the military mission rank first as volunteers, after the manner of Condor Legion. They wear tropical uniform with Iraq badge. The latter are also to be carried by German aircraft. 4. Air Force. Its use, numerically to be limited, serves above and beyond mere effective arms, the purpose of strengthening self-confidence and will to resist of the Iraq armed forces and the people. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces determines the nature and extent of German intervention. 5. Shipment of arms. The Chief of the High Command of the Armed Forces establishes the necessary orders, shipments from Syria on the basis of the agreement made with the French for this and from Germany. 6. Guidance of propaganda in the Middle East is the job of the Foreign Office, which for this purpose collaborates with the High Command of the Armed Forces, WFST/WPR. Basic thought of propaganda is, the victory of the Axis brings to countries of the Middle East liberation from the English yoke, and thereby the right of self-determination. He who loves freedom joins therefore the front against England. Pencil note, Syria accepted. Propaganda against the French position in Syria must not occur. 7. Insofar as members of the Italian armed forces are used in Iraq, collaboration with them is to be on the basis of the above order. Putting them under the chief of the German military mission will be attempted. Adolf Hitler attested. Signature illegible. Captain Copy 1. U.S. confirms role of Mufti as Nazi Middle East leader. Office of U.S. Chief of Counsel. For prosecution of Axis criminality. Number 792 PS. September 17, 1945. Source of original OKW files. Flensburg. Staff evidence analysis. Description of attached document. Title and nature. Rough copy for a report for Admiral Canaris regarding the situation in the Arab world and a possible revolt against England and France. Date. Copy X language German. Location of original, also witness if applicable, as of September 17, 1945. Unknown. Copy OCC files Nuremberg. Persons or organizations implicated. OKW. References to index heading. 1. Aggressive war, statements and plans. 2. Foreign penetration. 5th column. Propaganda. 3. Wehrmacht. OKW. Leads. Canaris, Ibn Saad, Grand Mufti. Summary of relevant points with page references. 1. Only through the funds made available by Germany to the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem was it possible to carry out the revolt in Palestine. Page 1. 2. Germany will keep up the connection with the Grand Mufti. Weapons will be stored for the Mufti with Ibn Saad in Arabia. Page 2. 3. Ibn Saad himself has close connections with the Grand Mufti and the revolting circles in Transjordan. Page 2. 4. To be able to carry out our work, one of Germany's agents will be placed in Cairo. Page 3. 5. The document is undated but obviously written before the outbreak of the war in 1939. It is not signed. Analyst Landman document number 792 PS.